welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. Episode 209 today. I want to welcome you all and thank you for tuning in with us each and every week or each and every episode. If it's your first episode, you are now privy to spend some time with, I think, Carol, last episode, you used the word manifestation. The manifestation of the myth of what the black male is. We have five representations on the podcast tonight, man. We got the whole gang. Art throwing me off a little bit. Y'all can't see it because there's a lot of good work going on in the background. The production going on right here is going to be amazing. But yeah, man, five representations of the black male, five different perspectives. We offer you that each and every week, whether it's our home life, work life, finding balance, financials, anything in between, man. But just that real talk from five guys and a guest every now and again to let you know how we feel and, how things are going on in the world are impacting us. But that's enough from me. I know I've been missing and I apologize for the last couple of weeks, but the fella's been holding me down. So I appreciate that. But time to get them in here. I'm going with Coach K first, man. What's happening?
What's good, man? Welcome back. Glad you could be here on what is going to be probably our last episode of this year. So glad everybody could be here.
Absolutely. BJ, what's happening down bottom, man?
All good, baby. Here, getting ready to wrap up everything for the holiday season. Just glad to get some time to myself and the family, man.
Absolutely. All right, what's going on, man? You missed the holiday season. Normally, I'm surprised. I kind of expected you to come on with your Christmas hat, ugly sweater and everything. This your time.
It is. I got them all. They are in the closet. I wore them for a couple of holiday parties, but this is the good time. I'm about to start wrapping some gifts a couple of days, and then let me double check to make sure they're not around. But getting ready for, of course, belief in Santa Claus and doing that whole thing. So excited. Next 3 days or 4 days is going to be awesome.
Got you. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Freshito. Fresh, what you got going on, man?
Man, just another beautiful day in Zamunda, out here doing what we do in the realm of fresh. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't been around as much as I should be, but we still spreading this freshivation like a fresh, what I want to say, bottle of Mad Harvest juice. Y'all go check us out, madharvest.com. That's 3 A's, triple A quality, baby. Always be closing.
There it is. We're going to stay right there with you, Fresh, to get the podcast kicked off, man. We're going with you to get the freshivation for this week. Go ahead and give us that good, brief positivity to start the show.
This freshivation is always dripping. Excuse me. What we got today. So don't start your day with the broken pieces of yesterday. Every morning we wake up is the first day of the rest of our lives. Stop allowing the things that have happened yesterday, last week, last month, last year, whatever. Understand every day that we wake up is a new opportunity. I know we are right in the time of new year, new things, new beginnings, but don't just think that it has to start at the new year. Every day is a gift. It is a present to you to go ahead and execute and be excellent. And that's freshivation for this week and the year. Make it happen. Let's go.
There it is. Before we get too far off into the podcast, man, I know we're going to be covering a lot of things, but we in the Christmas spirit right now, and it's a couple of things that were talked about in episode 208 that I want to kind of get back into, get my input on, but continue that conversation. But since it is the Christmas spirit, man, I want to get you guys in. I want to know how y'all are feeling coming into the Christmas or the holiday season, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever we celebrating out there. But how you feeling going into that? And the reason I asked that because today and kind of the last couple of days, I just started feeling this drainedness, I would say. I don't know if it's the weight of the year just starting to come to the head. Maybe it's, that senioritis, quote unquote, where, it's end of the year and you just kind of in fallback mode and just trying to chill out and get to the finish line the best you can, but just kind of feeling like out of it a little bit in the midst of, everything that's going on. So just trying to get you guys and get your perspective. How y'all feeling going into this holiday season or end of the year season?
It's been a whirlwind for me. Again, trying to wrap up everything for the work week, right? Work life, right? The organization I'm a part of, they shut down for the last 2 weeks. So really last Friday was like all calendars off, all meetings canceled, so don't work. And wrapping up that whirlwind and feel the weight to make sure you close out the year right. But at the same time, it's like, again, looking forward to just spending time with family and just not really taking everything for granted, man. Like there's a lot of things going on. As you all know, right now, this next variant of COVID is running rampant all over the place. It's hit closer to home this time than it ever has in the past almost 2 years with all our family and my wife's family. So it's just trying to take care of people and just, again, give everybody their roses while they're around, man. Looking out for people. It's that season where you just look out for people, let people know you're thinking about them. It don't have to be a Merry Christmas or present, just let them know you're thinking about them, man. So just trying to take advantage of all that time that I do have, I cannot dedicate to work, just let people know I appreciate them. So for me, that's where I'm at, man.
It's Christmas time in Highlands, Queens. Not just that's my favorite song of the holidays. Between that and Curtis Blow, both of those songs are on that. But this time of year, Christmas, I listen. Everything BJ said is super important because there's a lot of stuff going on with COVID around there, and people are coming in and it's getting crazy. But for those who have the ability to get with their family, do things. I said it about 2 weeks ago. I think I said it again last week. You forgot somebody on your list. I know you did. It's just going to happen. You're going to get down there. You're going to look at your list and be like, oh man, I forgot so-and-so. Do not break your bank to do that. Your presence is a gift. Being there this time of year is just as much as being there and bringing a gift that somebody's going to want to toss away or giving it to somebody else in a re-gift or a white elephant party. So please make yourself fun and make it about you. Enjoy yourself and enjoy the family and time. Christmas time all over the world. Any heartbreak.
Did you say any heartbreak?
I sure did, because that's their song, New Edition. Can't even talk. I'm so excited.
Nice.
So yeah, I bring joy. This is that for those who are listening. This is that other personality, that fifth one that kind of just gives that fun, fun life, fun stuff.
Yeah, I wish I could just bottle it up and just take a shot of it. You know what I'm saying? Just to get me through the next 8 days. Great.
But you know what, Brett? You bring up a good point. And I like where BJ's going, I like where Faison's going, but I think the overarching feeling is that we didn't think we'd still be dealing with COVID at this point in time. And we thought that things would be dwindling away and we'd be able to enjoy time with family for the first time. The way things were going, you felt like, okay, good. These holidays, the numbers have been low. You haven't been hearing that much. It's finally that time where we can all get together and love each other and just have a good time. And then here it is, boom, new variant, early gift from wherever it came from. And now numbers are going back up. I think, where was it? In DC, they were testing 2,000 people a day 3 weeks ago. Now they're up to 7,000 people a day.
Is that because of travel or just people are going to get tested? They're unsure.
No, that's because the testing is people are getting sick and going and getting more people are going and getting tested because of not feeling right and people close to them being positive and that nature.
And the tricky part is that, again, this variant is not even showing the same symptoms before. People are walking around that were fully vaccinated, testing positive and showing no symptoms. That's what happened to our family. Like that's really happened close to home, man. It's like we passed by going out, finish a couple of things today. There's an urgent care. Literally, I've never seen a line outside of urgent care. Like I don't know if they were just testing or what, but literally the line was like, are they giving stuff? Is somebody giving something away over here? Like that's this time of year, you only see little lines like that. Then, like literally, the line was down the side of the building. Like people, it seemed like they either getting tested or to get checked out, and that was scary sight to see. I didn't even think it was the ER, the urgent care, until I looked at the bill. Like, no, yo, that they're not in line for the store. They're going to the urgent care.
Right. I mean, there's people down in South Florida that, you know, they're trying to get tested and they can't even, appointments are days out.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? There was a flight that left South Florida and went to Israel or something like that, and they tested the folks coming off the plane, and it was like, almost the majority of the people. And of course, this is, you know, in media, so who knows if it's actually true, but allegedly Israel shut their borders to the United States again.
That's true.
So there's just a lot going on, man. I think people were really hoping to be past this, and now we're really looking at, we're gonna be doing Christmas on Zoom and, you know, stuff all over again.
Hey, it is we are about to roll into year 3. But I definitely know, going back and listening to some of our podcasts when this first started happening and was rolling out, we discussed how we are never going to be the same. This is, you know, a huge difference in everyone's life and in everyone's way of living. Even just looking at how it affects kids with school, like it's the trickle down of this is the ripple effect is insane, insane.
Yeah, I was just talking about it before before we got on, man. They got 30 cases in like 2 days in near school. And before, they were at least sending you an email telling you, okay, there was a case, and you know, if your child was in close contact, we'll contact you directly. They're not even doing that anymore. They just posting it on the county website, the school's county website or whatever. So you got to check that regularly to know what's going on. And then we just get an email that I saw. We got the email yesterday evening. I saw it this evening from the principal talking about between Monday and Tuesday, there's 30 students and or staff. And so, you know, they trying to get you to take the precautions and everything. But I know PG County, they went all virtual for the last week to a week and a half, I think. And so it might be coming back, depending on how they, you know, handle this break, because they don't break on Thursday. But earlier in the year, they had to shut everything down, sanitize the school, put in the filters, and do all of this other stuff. And they were doing fine up until, I guess, Omicron became a thing, and now we just right back through the roof. So no telling. Ain't no telling.
And here's the interesting spot that you get into. If schools decide, yeah, we're all going virtual again, well, companies haven't decided that yet.
Right.
So you're gonna put people in some interesting situations.
Yes.
For those that have had to go back into work.
Mm-hmm. Luckily enough, I don't have to fall into that.
This is by design. By design, things about to get real tricky. And that is exactly what's about to happen, is because schools are about to have to start making those decisions and doing that again, especially with, I don't know how many of y'all children have gotten vaccinated. Are they offering that in y'all schools?
Not yet. I mean, they're offering it down here in Georgia, but it's not available in the area.
But yeah, I mean,
we did before the week they went back to school, they got their second dose in middle school and high school. But here in Broward County, the week after Thanksgiving, go figure, when everything was starting to come out and everything, that was when they took the mask mandate out, so masks were optional.
And then boom.
The kids
I didn't know that was the case in Florida.
Yeah. It's not even when you leave your house. It's choice when they get to school. So
I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, we don't wear masks anymore. Like, what?
Yep. Especially, man, you know, down here.
It's a choice. You can send them with, but you're not, as a parent, you're not with your kid all day. So you talk to them and have a question about it, but you go on what they say. But
I mean, the thing about
it is January 1st, was what Kate was saying. Like a lot of those companies were, from what I heard, a lot of companies were saying the come back to office was starting January 2nd, whatever that first Monday is.
Yeah.
So again, with the switch, my biggest thing now is if the schools are going to do it, they need to pull that trigger now so people can prepare, because people are traveling, people are getting with family members all over Christmas break.
Right.
And the way this thing is spreading, like, it's like not like any other one. So your best bet, if you're going to do it, pull that trigger now, the beginning of next week, so people have time to prepare. Because this is going to get messy really, really quick.
Well, and then here's the other situation. The other thing is, so one, we know inflation is crazy right now. The other thing is the stay for the mandate for companies with, what is it? Is it over 100 people?
Yeah.
I think it's over 100.
100 or 500.
Either one, 100, 500, whichever one it is. It could even be 1,000, whatever. But a court has removed that stay.
Yeah. Yep.
So as of right now, that could actually go into effect, and I think that's supposed to happen in January too, right?
So the court removed the private sector mandate, so like the private sector can
only government now.
Up to so up to 100 employees, they can mandate. I think it was like through OSHA or something that you had the vaccine, right?
Yep. Or you will have to. I know what originally was that you had to test every week.
Right. So either or, and then they playing with who foots the bill for the testing people.
Correct.
Yeah. And then for the federal, you have it where it's held up in court, whether it's constitutional to mandate the vaccine is the last thing I thought I heard.
I mean, listen, you work for the government, and the government is asking you to have the vaccine and so forth. It makes common sense, especially if you're in public places. You're a police officer, you're in hospitals, you're aware you're at risk that majority of the time. And yes, there was a back and forth of, well, am I at risk? The vaccine doing something to me, or this process for you? But at the end of the day, there are things you've gotten that you got to get in those roles. If you don't want to do that process, then go for a different line of work, kind of private security guard or something.
The hospital workers, I think, is interesting because when the pandemic first started, there was no vaccine, and we were all in there catching it, giving it to each other, helping the world, helping save the world, and recovering at the same time. So it's kind of odd to me that you would require those people to get it when they probably have already had it or have been exposed to it an uber amount of time and have either recovered or not shown symptoms. So they have like the bomb immune system.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting.
No, yeah.
It's all interesting, and I think it's the backdrop of what you're feeling, what a lot of people are feeling. And then there's just hey man, y'all said this shot was gonna work. This was all I needed to do.
Yo,
now
okay,
we got another
one though. Hold that thought, because on the actual vaccination cards, there is 5 spots on that card. It was designed for more than just 2 spots. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they had no clue. They didn't. Yeah, and I mean, they definitely made the space for just in case.
But there might be a one size fits all shot coming. You gotta be on the lookout.
That's what the U.S. Army allegedly got, that new shot that's supposed to be able to totally clear. It's like a shot for chicken pox, supposed to take out all variant strains, past, present, and future.
That's the one I'm wary of. The U.S. government carrying that one.
Right.
Even though I'm skeptical of Pfizer and these other companies from past Johnson & Johnson from past institutions. But you tell me the government and the Army's rolling it out.
Well, and they said they started working on it
same time
early
at the same time when it first hit, but they were just like, "Oh, we're just gonna keep working. We're not gonna put out something fast." So
yeah, I don't know.
And Moderna has that same advantage. So I don't know if y'all been I don't know if y'all been following it, but Moderna's vaccine has in some instances shown to like their antibody response lasts longer than Pfizer's.
Yeah.
And they came in after Pfizer, so they have a little bit of an advantage in that regard. So if the military,
Well, I think though the
stays on
military
that
said
path.
that their focus was on something that would go through all strains. It wasn't just about the present strain, that their main focus was on something that they knew could carry through everything and wasn't just focused on trying to figure out something quick that could help with what was going on right now.
Little cameo.
What's up?
Turn
What
the
up?
mic on.
D.
Say hi now when you're here.
Hey.
What's
Say,
up,
What's
homie?
happening?
and say everything we just said is our opinion, not fact. Do your own research.
Me?
No, say everything we just said is opinion, not fact. Say
No.
it. All right. Well, everything we just said is not opinion, not fact. Do your own research. No one trying to get sued or demonetized.
Why, Daddy?
Hey, Art, let me know if Namdi's left the room because I did want to come back to a comment that you had made. So just to move away from the COVID conversation a little bit and bring it back to, some of the Christmas time, how y'all handling this year's Christmas shopping? Are you going all in, all out for the kids or whatever? We got a quick answer from BJ, like,
But he
is older.
a little
You
bit different,
got
man. You
adults
got
now.
grown-ups.
I'm in a different spot.
adults.
I went through all that already, so I'm gonna let Kay and Art and you just I'm at a different spot, and I'll tell you why later on.
The answer is last year was like the year of 30 boxes, go hard, go crazy. This year, I can say I didn't go hard, but I narrowed it down from their list. So I made them narrow down. There are 25 lists to 5 per person. And I started planning early. So everything's down in the basement, ready to go, all there. But they got one big gift that I bought. It's more of a gift for me than them, but they're going to enjoy it. I went to Disneyland in California and went to the Avengers land, whatever you want to call it. And they had a special Spider-Man like remote control spider that actually like crawls sideways, up and down, can do flips, almost climb on walls. So I got that for them. They won't know how to use it fully yet, but hopefully over time they'll grow to use that, and that'll be the gift that I'll see them use. So that's the big gift for both of them. But other than that, just gifts from everybody else and pass along. There's this Amazon boxes all over near the tree, near the front door, just stacked up, ready to go. So yeah, it's gonna be a good year for them. Good year.
I don't think this year is going to be as big for Asher as it was last year. He's only really asked for one thing, and the part that's getting me is that he's hardcore under the belief that Santa's bringing it, which y'all know my stance on that. Like,
what is your response? That's the question. What's the response?
I just shake my head and say, okay. Well, hopefully he got your request. Did you write a letter? No. Well, how does he know? Oh, I just said, Santa, I want you to bring, but okay, was this on the phone? Like, where was it? I said, well, all right, well, good luck, man. So
put it out in the universe.
But here goes this dude. This dude is so slick that he says, Daddy, if Santa didn't get my message and he doesn't bring this thing from Ryan's World, they sell it on Amazon.
Wow.
Way to go, Asher. Hedge your bets, man. Cover all bases.
Covering all the bases, man. I'm just like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. Nia's all into like Christmas and everything. So, since probably she's about 8 or 9 years old, the shift or focus has been less on gift getting and more on giving. So she always gets like her gift giving list out of the way so that she can then make her, wish list on Amazon or whatnot. So she had like this crazy wish list on Amazon. But she always does. Kellen, on the other hand, he only wants a couple of big ticket things. He wants a PC so he can game on this neon sign for his room and one of those night lights, but it like turns the room into like a galaxy or something like that. So it's like a hologram all over the room. So he's fairly easy. or whatnot. So we were able to, get them a good mix. But for us this year, we focusing a lot more on like experiences. So we're trying to do things like ice skating,
Okay.
the light shows at the in the neighborhoods. But then there's like I know there's one in like Pembroke Pines we used to go to when we were down there, where you just kind of drive through and all the lights. And then trying to do the Enchanted Christmas or whatever it's called at this point at the Gaylord down in the National Harbor.
Oh, nice.
So getting them to spend more time together because they already got everything. And last year we did everything from the VR sets to gaming chairs and switches and all this other stuff. So it's like y'all made out like bandits last year. So we're gonna bring it, reel it in, and add some other family oriented stuff. And then with Sonny, this being his first Christmas, we just interested in seeing what he goes for, more of the wrapping paper or the actual stuff inside the box.
Nope. The box.
Boxes.
The box by itself. You can
He
just
didn't
wrap
make
boxes
those
up.
paper, crumble it up.
I'm about to say box and paper, yo, gonna be all in the paper, and it's gonna be whatever the shiniest, most
Right,
is
exactly.
in it.
Oh, you mentioned lights and going down to the Gaylord. Well, your boy placed second place. Unfortunately, second place, but second place in his neighborhood light competition. So I'm excited for that.
Clark Griswold in the making, baby.
Right. So last
Exactly.
year,
You took pictures, video. I'm about to say.
I
How
was
did we
gonna say,
not
can
see
we
none
get
of
some
this?
footage?
yeah, I've seen some video, but I've seen some. But last year, I got an honorable mention, and I was terribly upset about that. So I said, this year I want to do it. But so I know who won this year and send the email out maybe around 8 o'clock Eastern time. So I now know who won. So now I'm going to go over to that house, see what they did to make sure that 2022 is upped. And like Ricky Bobby said, you ain't first, you last.
Hey, if you really want to step your game up, you need to have them lights synchronized to your favorite song, and have
I
that
saw
house
that.
come on. Da, 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 da.
Right, exactly.
Yo,
But that's yeah. That's an engineering project. I gotta call my some people for that one.
You got some frat brothers that can't be out with that.
Right, exactly. Meanwhile, Kay, how your lights doing?
I'm a what doing?
How's your lights?
All the bulbs in the house work.
Exactly.
Then I switched to LEDs once we moved here, so we are fine.
Right.
Years
Yeah.
and years to come.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about no switch
Yeah.
out.
It's like
Oh,
there
man.
might be 2 bulbs in a bathroom that are out. That's about it though.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Hey man, so I want to back it up a little bit from some of the talking points you guys had in the last couple of episodes, man. Especially going into the end of the year, and some things people might want to focus on, especially if you're one of those that's looking to change things from 21 going into 22, or build momentum or more maximum, depending on what train of thought you come from. But one thing, Art, you pointed it out or called it out. I think it was in your corner. And it was about the dangling of the carrot. And I think that a lot of us experience this in one way or another, whether it be professionally, whether it be personally. And I think navigating that is very tricky at times because you have to weigh a lot, your family, the cost benefit analysis, all of those things that go into it. And
Yep.
so if we could share, some of our experience with that, not getting into great detail, but how we kind of manage that so that we can give the tips to our listeners who may be experiencing that going into the next year.
Well, I can start because I just had this conversation with a cohort today, talking about the dangling carrot and what the next step was. So, example we used was, when you're going in to talk to your supervisor or boss or whatever you like to call that person, you got to go in there with a plan of action as like, what is your plan for me? And you're asking that question because you want to see where their mindset is, but you already know what you want to do. And you already know your plan of action, but you want to see if your plan and their plan are in sync. If it's not in sync, then you got to help them direct and say, oh, well, that's great. You have that. I'm more interested in doing this. And I understand that you have that plan that I know I work with this department for the next couple of months, but that department is not going to get me to where I go. Can I then shift to here instead? And by asking those questions doesn't mean you're not being supportive, not being a team player. You're seeing the roundabouts to get where you need to go. And that says, can you help me get here instead of going this way? And we can both work together and collaborate. And that's the challenge. And that's what I'm seeing that a lot of cohorts and people in the same mindset are not asking. They're just following along and saying, well, this is the plan of action. If I do these things, I should get this. But no one talks about the next step isn't there unless somebody dies or quits. So if you're going down this path, all you're doing is following the same train, got the person ahead of you there. But they don't know where they can't move any forward because you are behind them. So they're dangling that you can grow and develop, but you can't develop over them because they're first in line to get the next spot. So how do you diverge that plan and say, yeah, I understand you. I want your support and your leadership. But I also see opportunity in that right corner that I need to jump to. I need you to help me get there. And I can come back and help you on the back end at the same role you're at later on.
And so if I'm hearing that correctly, man, it's really about kind of taking ownership of, your situation and aligning it to meet the goals of the company and everything, but owning it so that you can kind of lead that path, not necessarily being led in a way, especially if it's not the particular way or position that you want to get into.
100%, 100%. You have to. The company, you are an employee, you'll be an employee until the employee is an employee, and you will follow that pipeline. If you want to move forward, you got to take initiative to do those things. Shine, do your best, but at the end of the day, you are still an employee under the bridge of the umbrella already set in front of you.
And definitely make sure to take those steps, right? Like to work on execution. Don't just be about talking. Don't, in having that plan, make sure you are taking those steps towards that plan, and making active progress and keeping things in motion. A lot of people get scared and stagnant and do not allow themselves to, like, it's okay to not reach the necessarily the goal. I don't like to talk about failure or to not, but to not reach what you thought you were going to reach, but to learn that lesson and keep striving forward. Stop getting so caught up in the thought of potential failure or not getting what you think that you want to get, and understand you're always moving towards what you deserve.
So many of us don't, and I'll let Kay drop some cool knowledge in a second, but so many of us, and I say us as in brown people, accept what's there. Well, they gave me this path and they said that I'll be there in 2 years. I'm going to be in this pathway. But you're seeing Joe Schmo on the right-hand side jumping in, getting new hire, moving up. You're seeing this, but you're always, oh, good job. You do such a great job. We appreciate you, what you do. Cool, that's great. Appreciate me and next level, not where I am. I can do much more. And we can't just keep accepting what's given to us. We need to, again, negotiate, we need to move forward and plan for our own development. Even if it's outside of the company, you do your own development, come back in and say, now I have this. If you don't want this, company A, B, or C is taking it from me. It didn't want this from me now, so we're gonna go over there instead. And that fear sometimes help move you much faster in your company because they say they don't want to lose the good talent, especially now. Losing the talent, they're gonna want to say, all right, well, let's see what we can do, see how we move you around before you go ahead and go out there.
Also, stop making assumptions. Stop assuming and being scared that, oh, well, I don't have necessarily what it is to be where I think I want to be and all that. You don't know until you ask and you find out and engage and make that real effort. Stop allowing yourself to assume yourself into nothing and not doing anything because you just assume that you don't have whatever it may be, credentials, experience, whatever it is. Go for it. You never know until you know.
So I just realized you were talking about Christmas lights. That's what you asked me about. No, I'm just joking. So
The light bulb.
yeah, the light came on. It was on a timer. So I think the thing is we're still, a lot of us are working on an antiquated system. And
On or in?
we're working off of. an antiquated system. The people we work for know that there is a new way, and they're just hoping that we don't find out, because we shouldn't be thinking in the mindset of a career happens in one place. A career may happen in one industry, and you need to look at it more as opposed to you being an employee. Everybody needs to think of themselves as a consultant at this point.
Yep.
And you got a renewable 1-year contract. And if at the end of the year, what they promised in the original contract didn't come to, or they don't have a good idea for what's going to happen at contract renewal, then it's time to go see where my services might be needed. And this is coming from a guy that's been 19 years with the same company. I haven't been in the same role. And that has kind of held me over, but I guarantee you I won't make it to year 21.
Message.
Because that time is just that time is just you've had, at some point you've had X amount of time to show a person that you appreciate them and that you value them. At some point, you can't just keep giving them that veteran minimum, that veteran minimum contract.
Mhm.
You now have to go out and say, okay, well, you know what? You've done all this. Don't even worry about a title. Here is this in excess of what you should get, because we know if we don't do that, your value to somebody else, we know. So we're going to take care of that.
Make sure to know and always self-evaluate and reevaluate your worth. We talked about this before, which has led to people directly on this podcast, making career shifts and changes, and, getting able to get more towards their worth. But it's something that I cannot stress to people, especially who are lifers in different careers. You need to take the time to get your resume together. You need to take the time to go ahead and see what else is out there in your same field by way of what other people are making. You don't know until you see it. Doesn't mean that you have to go anywhere, but it does mean that you should be intelligent enough to make sure you're not selling yourself short. There could be people out there making double, triple, whatever, doing, the same thing, if not less than what you're doing, but because you've gotten to this place where you settle in what you're doing and you're being happy. I mean, look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. However, there are many times that people find out at a minimum they could be making a lot more, if not also doing a lot less. That their value, once you are at a company 3 to 5 years, your value outside of that company, based on what what you've been able to do and accomplish, a lot of times there's a lot more opportunity outside of the company than within. But you have to be able to self-evaluate. A, what are you looking for? B, what is, if there is a real synergy between your current position and company, and you really feel there's a growth opportunity, or if you feel that, hey, they do, enjoy and like my presence, but to them I'm still just a number. I'm still, you know what I mean? I'm just another good person in that slot that understand and recognize where you sit at the table to be able to move accordingly. Understand there's no loyalty in these corporations. Don't get it twisted and fall into that fake, good old boy banter and believe that you really have that seat at the table that you don't. Because please believe, when it gets cold and they need to figure out, how to make some energy, they will throw you in that fire like a log real quick and easy.
So I don't want us to send the wrong message, right? When we talk about value, it's not always monetary, right? You might take a pay cut and end up in a better situation than you were or that you currently are, because when you go somewhere and you are actually seen, and they listen to you and they see you and they recognize you for the things that you do and that you bring to the company, and they encourage you to take time away, and they encourage you to spend time with your family, and they want to get to know your family. They want to know the things that are important to you. And they say, hey, I would like to invest in you far above and beyond just this company. Like the day that if you were to ever leave here, I want you to leave here better than you were when you came. And there's a certain value that's assessed to that. And I think people don't always think about it that way. They just look at that, hey, what's the offer?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
the
Let me
last,
negotiate the offer. But
yeah.
the offer is
Mm-hmm.
not the only thing you should negotiate. You need to negotiate that time and be able to set those expectations that you have, and set some boundaries as well for what you will be doing during your time.
The last year, if anything, if I learned anything, it comes down to 2 words: know thyself. I think this has been summed up a lot here, but the way I think about it really is ultimately, what is your goal? There's some people out there that's driven by money, by titles, by everything, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's what drives people, that what pushes people sometimes to get the job done. If that's what you're after, it goes back to, I believe, what Art was saying. What is that path that's traditional, or what is the path you can forge? If you can't meet that goal in that industry and you're going to kill yourself doing it, you may not be in the right place. But if you have the opportunity, the potential to climb that ladder, to meet those goals, to meet that financial thing, whatever that goal is for you, that's fine. If it's about the value you add, if it's about the impact you have, if it's about how many people you're going to influence, right? Those are different things through different questionings that you're going to have to pull out from interviewing, from if you have a mentor in there, if you have somebody you can talk to about your growth plan or what's next for you. And that's not always chasing that carrot, Brett, that you talked about. Like, just because somebody dangles that carrot, that may not be the best thing for you. If you know that, yeah, financially it may be a better situation, but the number of hours you're gonna have to put in, that you're gonna give up on the back end with family life, you're gonna have to give up, I don't know, any other perk that may be beneficial to you. Like that's stuff you need to evaluate. Getting out of the realm I was in for so long, it's opened my doors up. Like companies really do value this stuff. Like these are things that I never did work, never really experienced in the realm of the education, the field, in the field of education, in the side of education I was on, right? But having these conversations now in the organization that I'm with is more like, oh, people really do like, okay, so what are your personal goals? What are you trying to do? Here's what it, and I had a conversation with one of my core leads when we were talking about my personal goals and everything like that. Like, look, the project I'm on, I'm cool. I know my job, 9 to 5, I clock in, I clock out, I know what to do. But ultimately, this is not what I want to do. This is not where I'm feeding from. So I had to have the conversation. Really, when I clock in the morning, or when I sit at my computer in the morning, I have my tasks, to dos. I have meetings that I get new to dos for, and I know what my end goal is. If this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my career here, then I'm not going to be here long. And just had that conversation, but that took him to another level. Say, so let's talk about what else you're interested in. Do we have that here, or do we have that path? If not, what else do we need to talk about? It actually felt good to have that conversation, but a year ago, I probably would not have been confident enough to have that conversation. Like, I need to make sure the paycheck is coming. I need to make sure that everything else is in line. Like at this point in time, it's like, yeah, I got bills to pay, but I'm confident I can figure out a way to get it done no matter what's going to happen. So let me not joke around about this job that I'm in if it's not satisfying to me.
That's the biggest thing I think is understanding you are an adult and you have the right, and like you can ask for the things that you want, know what you need, make sure to ask and get things that provide you comfort, and make it, something just like BJ was saying, where you want to do this for a long time. And understand, hey, look, just because you started a career, a job, or whatever, you are not an indentured servant. You are not tied to nobody. Understand that you are always and forever a free agent. So don't feel no sense of, and this even goes for when you are getting in business. I just had to cut someone who I thought was a friend totally off, who I was doing business with. That don't be afraid to Know and understand your worth and value, and don't feel tied to thinking that, oh, just because you started something, that means that you're an indentured service to that cause, corporation, movement, whatever it is. If you feel that things are not right, or if your value is not being understood and fully compensated for, man, there is absolutely nothing wrong with moving on to the next thing. Learn from what you have what you have done, but you always, like I said, push forward. Make sure to keep on walking forward, head up, and let's go.
Yeah, man. I'll say like one last thing and then move on to my last question so we can start closing this out. But I think opportunity. We said that a lot. That word came up a lot, and with everybody, everybody's response. But opportunity, just that being in the eye of the beholder and seeing the opportunity that exists everywhere, no matter the situation. I think that whether it's good or bad, like finding the opportunity and where you are, which way that's going to take you. So it's like I think we started with know who you are, know what you want, and then figuring out where the opportunity is, so you don't find yourself just being led down the rabbit hole or led in a manner or a way that just doesn't suit you at the end of the day.
What's your question?
What you want for Christmas?
That's the question?
Man, so the reason I asked that is because I don't know that we ever get asked that. I can't ever really be like, I don't remember ever being asked that like in a year until maybe like the day before like Christmas. Like, oh, what do you want for Christmas or something like that. And so I don't know if you guys experience that as well in your households, but I know we as men, we do a lot. We want to feel appreciated too. So if there was any opportunity, if it hadn't presented itself before today or just now, what is it you guys want for Christmas?
I'm about to say there.
It really don't matter. I mean, especially since this is going to air after Christmas. So,
true story. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm such a, if there's things that I really want, and that I'm willing to understand the want versus need in my life, I'm pretty much gonna get things that I need, you know what I mean, want or need as it goes. So by the time Christmas goes around, it's I'm appreciative of any thought or anything that comes my way, but I definitely don't have like it's been a long time since I've really had like that Christmas wish list, or you know what I mean. Oh man, I'm waiting until, yeah, I'm about to say, I just want a happy household. I just want to make sure ain't no arguments, no BS going on, yelling,
That's where I was at too,
craziness. Like
man.
I just
Like
want,
I just want this
that's
peace.
it.
Like,
That's exactly that's the only thing I need in my stocking, period. I just want to make sure there is no drama.
I don't. EJ said once to me, or no, she said it a couple years in a row, that I am the hardest person to shop for because my impatience to wait for things that I want. So with that being said, Brett, I don't have, there really isn't anything that I want unless EJ can find some mysterious pop figure that I don't have yet, that I haven't thought about. There's not really anything that I want. I went to go out and get a new Pokemon game that I won't play probably for another 2 years because it's just busy. I got the new Apollo Creed 2 video game for my GameCube, for my game Switch, that I probably won't play for a while. But yeah, there's really, no, what I do want, I want a Galaxy Fold. Galaxy Fold would be great. That would be the thing that it will be awesome because my phone is great. It works
Jeez, the
out well.
tone of that message changed so quick. I
That's
didn't
he
putting it
even
text
out there.
EJ now,
it's
right?
because
You
she's
know that?
there. Like
EJ.
she's right there, so she can hear him.
She's somewhere. I'm not sure
man,
where,
change
I'm
the
not sure
tone
where
of
she
that
is,
message.
but
I
that
don't
would
need
be,
nothing.
that
You
would
know,
be it.
everything's good. You know what? I could use a Galaxy phone. Galaxy phone would be great.
Why? That's the 2 minutes she walked out the room. Watch.
Right. Maybe she listen to this. This will drop after Christmas. So we'll see if the Monday comes and we'll see what it is. But listen, again, this year there probably isn't any big gifts going forward, but I think I've lost the luster for the want and now enjoy the give. Being able to go through and like for my goddaughters, they wanted some random stuff, and I'm like, no, what are you into? And they're like, oh, I like anime or I like this. I'm like, okay, cool. No, I can use that and surprise you something you like. So now I went out and find the hardest thing to find, other than Black Sands, was to find Black anime. So I found that, sent that over to them. And then my other goddaughter is into like electronics and engineering. So I'm like, cool. Got her an awesome set where she can build like a robot is going. I'm not giving you any more gift cards for Roblox. I've given you many, many times where I said, hey, turn this money for your birthday into a business on Roblox. And you've turned it into just buying skins. So I am no longer investing in your company. You have to do your own.
I'm not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe anymore, little girl.
Now I want you get to the age now. Now, I have those who are listening. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goddaughters, no godsons. So there's 6 gifts, all ranging from age of 12 all the way down to 2. So there's a bunch of gifts going out, all kind of levels, and each level gets a dollhouse. Yeah, have fun, you get the cool things. And this level at the top is like, nah, like we're not playing this anymore. What are you doing with your life? Build something. Like get this anime and make it something cool you can make your own character for. Like no longer like this, make it so business. I'm getting them in the mindset of that. So yeah, man.
I just want you to know that ain't God. God didn't do that to you. You got a whole God family.
That's true. I do.
You got a whole God family that's bigger than your actual family.
Right. Exactly.
Your immediate family. Crazy.
Oh man.
Hey man, so all right, it's time. We got to come back to you for the corner, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, let me clean this up a little bit. Let me go ahead and clean that up. So my big thing, and we talked about it earlier, and I really want to dig deep into this, is the fact that you want to have the ability to make the moves you want to move. So, for instance, you want to leave the job. You want to use the 1-year consulting contract mindset. That takes you to be prepared for yourself mentally and financially. You're not going to just leave. You don't have the fear of, I can't leave my job because I don't have the money to do so with it. And we've all, in our own lives, our own paths, our own mindsets, you think about that. If you don't have the money yet, now you're trying to find a job before you leave your job. But how great is to say, this job is not for me. I'm going to give my notice and I will find a job, but I'm good. The ability to have that power over yourself and over others makes your want to negotiate, your want to do more things, your want to develop much more stronger than you having to hop in order to get what you want, because you don't have the backing or you don't have the foundation put in place for yourself. Build a foundation while you're moving forward, so that when you're ready to make those moves are not based upon your financial need, but what you want as a person and what you're looking for your family and for your better mental, I can't think of the word, but for your mental health. Thank you. All right. That's it. Woo, that was a hard one to get out. Back to you, Playboy.
There it is. Before I go to UK to give us the final closing word, I just want to remind everybody, you can get this podcast everywhere: Apple iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube. Definitely watch, subscribe, like on the YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, wherever podcasts are played, you can find the 13th Floor. Follow us at 13th Floor, please, on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook. Stay connected with us. Leave us comments and let us know what you think. Coach K, you ready?
I'm ready.
There it is.
So before I close it out, we just want to thank everybody for another great year of listening and tuning into the 13th Floor. And while we continue to grow, we know it wouldn't be possible without you all. And we appreciate those of you that send comments and Let us know that you're listening. We want to appreciate more of you that are actually listening, but don't let us know that you're listening. So please, when we say drop a comment, we really mean it. We do interact with people that leave comments. Definitely like on any platform that you're on. If you have the ability to like and follow, subscribe, we encourage you to do so. We want more people to be able to tune in to this greatness that we put out every week. And if it's not great to you, then definitely leave us a comment. Let us know how it can be great to you. And with that being said, we talked about a lot today, and I want you to think about your year. I want you to reflect on everything that you thought was going to happen. Remember, we were saying that, 2021 is going to be the year. It's going to be even better than 2020. And we got thrown some more curveballs and more things happened. And despite all of that, a lot of you out there and us here on the podcast, we've all got some wins and we all grew and we're still here. And what I want you to think about is, as you reflect on everything we've said in the podcast today, and you start thinking about 2022, understand that the carrot does not come when you're looking for it the most. The carrot does not come at an opportune time. The carrot comes when you're least expecting it, when you're at your wit's end and you feel like, you know what, I can't take this. I'm about to bounce. Guess what? The people above you know that that's the situation that you're in. They know that that's the space that you're in, and they just won't say anything to you about it. And behind closed doors, they have conversation that says, what are we going to do with XYZ? We need to do something. Otherwise, we might lose them. And then all of a sudden, a position gets created, a promotion comes, that raise that you were looking for comes, and you feel like, oh, well, okay, I think I'm good now. Maybe I can stay here. And as somebody that has gotten that so many times, I promise you, you need to plan and be prepared for your conversation and how you deal with that carrot, how you dice that carrot up. Because if it's not in line with what you want, and that's an important part, you got to know what it is you really want. Because a lot of times, even in that situation, that carrot comes along and we are still actually on the wrong end of the negotiation and we're settling for that little bit more that we got. And it's funny because Art said something last week, and I want to go back to it. And he said, this isn't all I am. That was something that he actually said to his boss. And there are so many of you out there, and there's so many of us, that this isn't all that we are. 2020, 2021 was not all that we are. We are so much more, and we need to recognize that and act as if we know it. Because if you act like you are more than what you actually are and act to the level that you belong, then guess what? The universe is going to work for you. God is going to go to work for you and put you into a better place, and the place that you need to be, where you will be appreciated and people will lift you up and say that, you know what, this person is this. But you got to believe it before they do. And you got to get people around you that will constantly remind you. Have a phenomenal new year. And you know what? Don't get so caught up in the new year. Get caught up in the new opportunity.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all of that. I appreciate you all listening in with us here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
Amazing.
It's a 13th floor, y'all. It's a 13th floor, y'all.